Adichdale. Tabi unzo kaitsin gen Witsen sanin ye lagen gidet zana da teyak salon zin etn beo kaneurakelenik nito kanaadrasni. Thank you very much for asking me to speak on the canyon. And when the canyon became the hub of the summer activities of our people, I remember the smokehouses in the canyon, and the one in particular that I grew up in is the one that's where the bridge goes across coming from this side. There was one on the left-hand side, or right-hand side, and that smokehouse, there's a lot of pictures of it, by the way. That smokehouse belonged to my grandfather, with Achget, Peter Basil. And 4 families used it. There was my grandmother, Mary Muskin Jim. She had one corner. Grandpa Peter and his wife Nancy had one corner. Eva Isidore and her husband had one corner. So it was like families used jointly the smokehouses in summertime. As far back as I can remember, it was always a smoky smell with the smokehouse full of drying salmon. We were taught not to mistreat the salmon. Every piece of it that could be eaten was prepared and put away and eaten. And what wasn't used was put back into the river itself. So that by the time they took a salmon out of the river and they prepared it and returned the rest of it back into the canyon, you wouldn't know that there was a fish there because everything was prepared and put away properly. Oh, I love to go there and sit on this side and just listen to the water. And you watch the water coming down over the rocks, especially when the river is high and there's a soft roar, right? It's just so meditating and just makes you so relaxed. And the canyon is a very spiritual place.
For me, it's just, I've been this year will be 45-year fisherman for me. I love fishing down there, obviously. The one year I brought my son down there, Brandon, he was only like her age. And the tourists thought I was training him. I tied him up so he doesn't get near the water, and I gave him a little stick, and then I went in there and I did my fishing. And the tourist came back, "Oh, cute, you're training your son how to fish." Oh no, I'm just, yeah, I guess I am doing that. Yeah. But I love it. I love that canyon regardless of anything. This 45 years I've been there, I never get tired of it. You can get lost in the sounds, and that's the way it is for me down there. I just love the, what do you call it, a solitude. I love being there, and it's just relaxing for me. It keeps me going.
Right by that little alley across the river, and there's a upside down hook we used to use. And there's a sockeye. There used to be those days, big sockeyes. And then we see them going under the water, cause the sun, you can see them. Then we used to go spear them behind the head. And they go like this, you don't flop around. You paralyze them when you get them behind the head. And that was another place, that's how we used to go fishing. Yeah.
About the canyon? I loved the canyon since I was a kid. I remember when we were kids, we used to pack fish by a pole, like about 10 fish on a pole, and one person in the front and one in the back. That's how we used to pack our fish up from the canyon. Later on, when I was about maybe 25, I started fishing down there. My boyfriend at the time, he's deceased now, JJ. Him and my daughters, they went down the canyon 6 o'clock in the morning and they went fishing. I brought them lunch at 12 o'clock and he said, "Here, you take over." I just threw my line in the water and first throw I got a fish. He was up on the hill where the bench is. Him and Richard Nazell, they were having a few there. And he hollers down the river and says, "Fucking bitch, I've been here since 6 o'clock this morning. I never even catch a bite. Your first throw and you got a fish." And then pretty soon I had the ladder full of fish. Oh, they were just hollering away at me. And anyways, I caught lots of fish that time. After, that was when the jigging was allowed. After that, we turned to big dip nets, the long pole. I guess I was the only woman down there with all the men. I used to catch fish all by myself for the family and that. I said, look at what you're missing out at. I said, "Why don't you hire me as a fisherman? I can fish just as good as the men." Next thing you know, he hired me. And I was the only woman fisherman down there. Everybody used to watch me. There was a lady come down from, I don't know where she came from, way down across the ocean somewhere. She came down to me and said, "You know what? I wanted to see you in person." Said she seen me on TV and she wanted to come down and see me in person. I forget where she was from, but she had an accent, and I said, "Thank you." Everything I did, she took pictures. I always felt good down there. Made me feel so good that right now I'm 72 now, and I guess I never quit till I was about 69. I was still fishing.
I'm gonna say I like the canyon because my grandma had a smokehouse and my auntie had to stay there overnight, and Grandma said, "You guys gotta stay in there." Oh my God, Helen, what we're gonna do? It was scary because somebody was taking fish. And I like the canyon because there's a lot of tourists stopping there watching people gaffing, but I don't know how to gaff.
But you know how to eat the fish.
I know how to eat the fish, but I don't know how to gaff it.
Hi, Butch Dennis here. All I can say about the canyon from when I was a kid, that you used to be able to walk across the fish back in the 70s and the 80s, and then now there's nothing there. So something wrong with the oceans, overfishing, overpopulation, the technology. But anyways, when we were kids, we used to sneak down there when we were 13 in the dark and go jigging, and the elders always told us don't go down there because the tunda is gonna get you, and that's something you don't even hear about. Kids don't know what that is. And the fish used to be a lot bigger, 70, 80, 90, over 100 pounds. And that there is, nowadays, if you get 20 or 30 pounds, that's lucky. And every year spring is in the ocean, they gain 10 pounds. So that just shows you that they don't even have a chance in the ocean anymore. But back in those days, I used to make $400 or $500 a day as a kid, selling fish and giving fish to everybody. And there was still always enough fish for everybody. Fish was never a scarce thing as it is now.
They're fishing, and they had this plank down there, but they didn't put the boards across, and it was just bony like a fish bone. And I was running up the plank, and the rope got tied around one of the rails sticking out and pulled tight, and I nearly fell in, and the fish fell off and the hook, and so this time I took the rope off and I wouldn't wear it. I went down there and I was fishing away, and a wave came up and hit me in the leg, knocked me off balance, and I fell right in the river. I thought I was dead. So I didn't do nothing, and I was standing on the bottom, and I wasn't going anywhere. So I pushed on the bottom, and I could see Junior Morris on the other side, Roy Jr. And then I went back to the bottom. I was standing there, and I thought, well, it worked once. I'll try it again. And this time I'll act like I'm in a swimming pool and pull myself out. So I got to the top, turned around, grabbed on the rock, pulled myself out, and then I was sitting there going, because I thought I was dead, because nobody gets out of there. And then after I was walking up, and then he said, "John, why are you all wet?" He said, "Well, did you fall in?" I said, there goes my gap pole down the river." Henry and Cecil, I was about 13. I was watching them. They're pulling out spring salmon one right after another. And then they were teasing each other. Cecil would tell Henry he's too fat. "Fat's where it's at. I got lots of anchor for that fish. He can't pull me. You're going to pull in. You're going to wash away like a stick." And they just keep teasing each other like that. This, friendly insults. They just teasing each other.
Yeah.
But it was fun. I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be like those two. That's why I wanted to pull fish out like them guys.
You ended up doing that, eh?
Yeah, I ended up doing it, of course.
Nice.
That's my family too.
Oh, when I was growing up down at the canyon, my dad used to teach us fish or gaffing, teaching us gaffing on the east side here. He used to teach us in that small falls on top, not the big one. It was a small one on top. He used to teach us there until we were about 15. Then after that, he got us into teaching us how to make gaff poles. So a gaff pole would take us maybe about 3 or 4 days with us because we're beginners, eh? But anyways, I remember when my dad used to take us down there all the time. Like on a nice day like this, we'd be going down fishing and, catch fish for the family or for the people. We always did that. We did catch fish for the people, eh? And just handed it out. But some of them end up giving us money for it or cigarettes or something like they're starting to do that now. Like, never used to do that to us when we were kids, but now that's all happening, eh? So, and we used to have lots of fun, but until I think it was 84, 86, we ran into that David Suzuki. He was down there, he was fishing, and we were all on the other side, on the north side, fishing in the dungeon. And he was saying, "Oh, how much fish you guys lose each year?" And I said, "Just about 85% on gaff pole." So he was the one that started us off on dip nets back in the 80s. So we've been using dip nets ever since, eh? And I remember that when we first started using the dip net, it was a lot more easier. We weren't losing as much. But growing up with parents and grandparents, we used to, where Roy Jr.'s place is, there used to be a big 2-story smokehouse there. When I was growing up, we had to fill that up because it took just about the whole 3 days to fill that smokehouse up just to have our grandparents happy and all that, eh? But when I'm down there, I always hear people talking or kids laughing, like, holy smokes, and I get scared a few times because I'm down there by myself. And, I just, talk to them and tell them, help me make it through the day and make sure I don't fall in the water, eh? And just by memory, some of the people, you can just see the elders, like that late Kenny Morris. You used to see him sitting on the other side all the time. He had his arms folded up, and he'd be yelling around all the time. "Oh, there's that big fisherman over there. Go ask him." And I said, "Oh, geez." We used to have lots of fun there. Last good thing I remember about my dad is gaffing in the falls, and he was telling us that one day there's going to be only one fisherman down here. You watch. Because the new generation's not going to be here for us. And what do you know, for the past 5 years, I was the only one fishing down there. That Hall, that Herb Hall's dad. He used to put a rope on his feet. He never used to put it on his waist, but he always put it on his feet. So all of us would be running down there to go see him, and they said, you gotta put that rope on your waist. No way, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna fall in. And just when he went to put his gaff pole in, he slipped. He went down. He was hanging in the water, just about touching the water, but his hand was in the water already. And he said, hey, you guys, come over here and help me. And we had to grab him by the legs, and it was our elders. And these people on the other side were all laughing away. They said, oh, why is that elder going down there? Is he trying to catch fish? I said, no, he slipped. He's supposed to put that rope on his waist, and he put it on his feet, and he was staying hanging there for about a few seconds, and then we came down there and helped him out. Fucking couldn't help laughing at him. He gave us a real mean look. You're not supposed to laugh at your elders like that. We came back up and we told the elder or my parents about it, and he said, oh, maybe next time you see him down there, make sure you go and put it on his waist. We never did see that Mr. Hall down there again.